Typewriters are possibly a little bit out of the computer realm when we're talking about technology, but they kind of do have a place in the history. Now, typewriters obviously began with giant, fully mechanical devices, and then moved kind of to the smaller devices, and then to the electronic versions of them, which were still effectively single-purpose machines, and to word processors, which again, although computers and most of the time running on real operating systems like CP/M, were still basically focused around that single function, and eventually to where we are now, where we just have multifunction PCs doing that word processing as well as everything else they can do. But somewhere in between those last two versions of the history, there's machines that fit just kind of right there, and they aren't quite PCWs, word processors, and they aren't exactly these just general purpose computers, although they do general computing tasks. And it's an interesting little subset which sounds even less mystical when you break them down, but let's do that right now. And this is the machine we're talking about. This is the National, or Panasonic as it's known elsewhere, FS4500. And yeah, this is an MSX2 computer. And it is a full MSX2 computer as well. But it also kind of bolted onto the back of it here is a typewriter carriage, or I guess in this case a printer carriage. And that's, like I said, when you break it down, it kind of doesn't sound as impressive. It literally is just an MSX computer with a printer kind of slammed on the back of it. But it's still an intriguing little device. It has its own special ROM, which boots into a menu, which we'll see later, which enables you to do various typewriting tasks, although you can't seemingly, unless I've missed this somewhere, just type directly. You've got to kind of type into a window and then print it. So more like a word processor than a typewriter in that respect. And it's just, yeah, I think it's a fantastic machine. It's also huge, as you can see. And I guess I could zoom out more, but then the good old Sharp X1, which is also huge, would be taking up more of the room. So yeah, it's just, yeah, it's got the two cartridge ports you expect from MSX2 machines. It's got these bits here which remove. These are the paper guides and stuff, and the cutters. Changed it to free, so you can rejig the paper. It's that kind of stuff. It's all, you know, printery stuff. So you've got the feed wheel here. Nice green on-off button hidden up in the corner. Can you see that? Let's maybe move forward a bit more. There we go. Nice green on-off button there. A pretty good keyboard, which of course you'd need for a machine that is doubling up as a word processor, with all the usual MSX keys. We need to go kind of around. There are basically things everywhere on this machine, so we kind of go around the whole thing. So on this side we have our joystick ports, because it is an MSX2 machine after all, and also a reset button, which is broken on mine unfortunately. That does work, but you have to kind of poke something in there to reset. It's quite heavy as well. So yeah, on the back we've got a lot of things that you kind of expect on an MSX computer. Like around here we've got our composite cables. You probably wouldn't expect this. This looks like a SCART port, and it is technically. It's a SCART, certainly a SCART style port, and the SCART lead will fit in there, but it's actually RGB21, which is a slightly different format. You can build a converter, but it won't work off the bat. I haven't done one yet, but I will do, so we'll be doing the slightly less impressive composite. It's got the like a, whoa, this whole thing is top back heavy, so it just slides around. Yeah, like a serial expansion port here, but still got the cover on, which is kind of nice. There's various, like this is a tape port here. There's lots of switches to change between languages and stuff. Like there's one. Actually, it's this side, isn't it? Yeah. So there's a switch over here, which means the keyboard will support kind of like a mixed Roman and Japanese character set, or just a Japanese character set. It's like the GIS format. It's different formats of character sets anyway. And yeah, there's all the way over here. There's an RF port as well. That's that SCART-like lead. And yeah, the power lead is built in, like many of these are. And then, oh god, finally. On the other side, we've got kind of the darkness button of the print. The darkness, the wheel, sorry, you change the darkness. If you put that all the way, then this will actually print on thermal paper. So it can print on using a print cartridge or print thermally, which is kind of cool. So yeah, it's a hefty old machine. Oh, I forgot these bits in the back actually. So these, the little paper guides that pop up, they feel really ropey, but they are quite solid still, which is interesting. Yeah. It's definitely a well-built machine, there's no doubt about that. It's certainly in terms of weight. And it's kind of, I just kind of love this. It's just a beast of a machine. Right, there's not a huge amount more we can say about the machine itself, really. We should just kind of turn it on and try it out, right? Because it's, you know, it's a computer that prints. You kind of you need to see that bit working. So let's go and do that bit now. Right, so we set up the machine over here, and I just wanted to to just show how it sounds when you first turn it on, because it's just, I think it's brilliant. I think that's amazing. And yet here we are. This is the menu, which is not something you generally see on an MSX machine or most machines of this kind of era. And you see, yeah, it's a copyright Matsushita. It's another Panasonic company there. So it's a kind of three separate companies with national at the top. And yeah, so these are different options. So you've got two different printing options. I think one is Japanese text only. 2 allows Japanese and English text, and 3 I think is for printing stuff out, and then 4 takes you through the basic, which is just the standard basic. So if we go press 4, and this looks now like any other MSX machine, so we could do the usual there we go, just like any other machine. So if we now reset that back, there we go, and we are back at the menu. So if we choose one of the printing options, let's choose number 2, and then that will take us through to this, which is kind of the word processing part of this whole thing. Now, I can't read any of that. But I do know one allows me to kind of start entering text, so I can do hello world. And at the top there we've kind of got like a graphical version of what's going on. So these are, you just can keep typing and it's got a, like there's the carriage return character, and it shows you at the top that it's moved down a line, and you just carry on like that. And obviously we need paper in this, so if we feed some paper, and yeah, at this point it's just kind of like any, no, we missed, in fact it's painfully like any other printing system. So there we go, that's more or less lined up. More or less. There we go, that's kind of lined up. So now what we can do is, I think it's the... Right, so now we go back to pressing escape, and so we've done our text. So now if we go to 3, so this is our print dialog. So we now just need to tell it to print. Right, and so yeah, there we go. So obviously the the ink cartridge is not the greatest ever, but it does work, which is it's fairly astonishing given the age of this machine. The fact it's just been sitting somewhere. So yeah, that's kind of, you can just print stuff out, and you can do databases and stuff as well. There's all kinds of other Office-y applications. But first of all, let's just turn this off and plug in our Mega RAM cartridge. and we'll see when it boots up. There we go, and then it just boots up like a normal MSX machine. Right, so if we let's go to Rastan. There you go. Like any other MSX2 machine, it can play MSX2 games. It is, at the end of the day, just an MSX machine with a printer kind of welded to the back, but I still think it's an amazing piece of technology. Right, I don't have a joystick. Oh, you can use the keyboard. That's good. There you go. We can play Rastan. It's wonderfully colourful main character, but very uncolourful other characters to keep the sprites fast and simple. Brilliant. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Yeah, it's like I said earlier, it is just an MSX2 machine with a printer welded to the back, but it's still a lovely piece of technology and kind of that weird halfway house between the dedicated word processors and the general purpose computers with word processing software. It's a fascinating little device. It is incredibly bulky. It takes up so much room. It's got a few issues as well, this one. I need to do some recapping inside, I think, just based on some of the symptoms it occasionally has when it's been warmed up for a while. But other than that, it runs perfectly. It's a very, very good MSX2 machine. It just happens to have a printer bolt to the back. Fascinating. If you like this video, please hit like. If you really like this video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video or you have something else to say, then please leave it in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos about weird machines and consoles and all sorts of things, then don't forget the bell icon to be warned when new videos are coming out. Alerted when new videos are coming out. Yeah, thanks for watching.
The present is horrible. The future looks bleak. Remember our childhood to get us through the week. We're getting re-enthused. Back to the past and the things we used. We all know that our pasts were great. Escaping the things that today we hate. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused.